And welcome back to Immerse TV. I'm your host, Drew, with a U, and it is snowing here in beautiful Lake Tahoe, California. But I'll tell you what, all of our minds are on the ocean and event season. However, one of our top athletes, Zane Schweitzer from Maui, might have went a little too hard in his last event. And I'll tell you what, very exciting. In case you don't follow him, it's Zaniac1 on Instagram. And you got me chuckling, Zane. First of all, tell us what happened. Walk us through it.
Yeah, so I started off the day with the surf at one of my favorite spots near home on West Maui, Honolulu Bay. And it was kind of a crowded session, but the waves were great, and I got some fun waves. Out on the outside in the Pailolo Channel, I saw the wind just cranking. And so after about an hour and a half of fighting for waves, I decided it was time to go for a wing foil. You know, a lot of the maneuvers I've been doing lately, I've been finding the leash getting in the way. And so I kind of consciously, before this session, I took the leash off. But on my way out, I just was timing it with the rip current, and I thought I was going to be timing it perfectly. But a random set came, it was well overhead, and not quite enough to be able to hold my front foot strap and keep the board upside down. I tried to push the board and the foil through the whitewash as I'm dragging my wing with the leash on my wrist. And when the wave hit me, it threw my board around, and the foil went from being upside down to back in the water. And it just nicked me right in the leg as I was getting pounded in the whitewash. I held on to the board because the spot is like really gnarly rocks and reef, and so I just didn't want to break my new starboard foil, you know. But probably avoided the situation all in all if I would have just wore my leash and let go of the board through the wipeout. So that's the moral of the story.
But if you follow him on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about, because it pops up on my feed. And, you know, whenever I get something that says graphic content and it's X'd out, you know it's got to be good. And I was like, oh, man, it's Zane. There's graphic content. I had to click see the photo. And ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to load this for you and show you a little bit. Viewer discretion is advised. I've always wanted to say that. But tell us about... You got your foot out the car window, you got a tourniquet with a shoelace, and duct tape.
You know, at first I thought I just got Charlie horsed, you know. I didn't realize I was super cut. So I tried to get back out through 2 more waves, and I was holding my foil still, trying to swim through, and I noticed there was a break in the waves, and so I was like, oh, maybe this is a time to get up and try and get the foil up and moving. And when I got up and I started to get onto my board, I looked down at my leg. I felt something flapping a little bit. I looked down at my leg and I'm like, oh, I should go in, you know, to me. And so I took my leash of my wing off. So I tied it up tight with my leash and got to my truck. I loaded up my gear. And then I saw a roll of duct tape in the back seat and my little car first aid kit. I got like this stupid little car first aid kit that's probably good for nothing besides the gauze that was in there. You know, it was kind of a 4-wheel drive road out of it, and I was starting to get pretty dizzy too, because I was losing quite a bit of blood. So I put my foot up above my heart, and it was kind of funny because I'm like 4-wheel driving up the road, like dunk 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 dunk, like slipping out, like it's all stuck. I made it off the road, and you know, it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, no cars around. And
yeah, I got to ask you, when did you think it would be a good idea? You got this pretty traumatic injury that's going to need stitches. You're losing blood. You're feeling a little lightheaded. You're driving. When did you think it would be a good idea to take us through it all on Instagram story? And how did that all come about? Because you took us through the whole thing, from start to actually getting it repaired at the urgent care. You know, it was like we were spending the day with you throughout this whole experience. So is everything good now? Is everything sewed up?
Everything's good. Everything's good. As soon as I washed the cut off with water, I knew it was I was going to be out of the water for at least a week. And so I figured, might as well have some fill up the Instagram feed for while I'm gone and let people know why I'm in the water, you know. And my buddy actually, he met me at Doctors on Call, and he wanted to film. He's helping me with my YouTube vlog series that I'm launching. One of them came to meet me at the urgent care office to film the process, and it was closed. The first place I went to was closed, and so the next spot was a good 30 minutes away, and he ended up not following me there, but he told me, yeah, just film with your GoPro and your iPhone. And I'm like, okay. While I'm getting stitched up, you know, I went through the gnarliest part was the cleaning. You know, of course they shot me up with the anesthetic, but you know, it was like a big old toothbrush. They're like grinding against the cut, trying to clean it. And through that, I was fine. But then once she started to stitch me up, I looked at her and I'm like, I think I'm about to, and I just fully blacked out. And luckily she caught me from like rolling off the table as the other lady is stitching me up. And the funniest part about this was those two doctors that were helping me, I surf and foil with them like all the time. And so they fully are foilers and like know the deal. And so they were like laughing when they saw me walk in. They're like, oh, Zane, what happened this time? You know?
Dr. Zane, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, you probably could have, if you had a suture kit, you probably could have done it yourself and super lit it shut and not wasted any time on the water.
Yeah, I might have fainted and had to wake up and continue, but if there is one learning lesson to share with everyone, because I've been having a lot of people messaging me in the last 24 hours, just like, hey, I'm just getting into foiling and that's a nightmare. I don't ever want that to happen to me. You know, the lesson of the story is, you know, always wear your leash, both your board leash and as well your wing leash. I learned from the lesson is, you know, even if I want to do a session with no leash, I'm probably going to throw it on next time. So the next learning lesson for any of you, if you ever do get a serious cut, you probably don't need to tourniquet it. You know, the worst case scenario in that case, if you have something tourniqueted for too long, is you actually lose a limb, you know. And so that's biggest learning lesson for me. You know, next time I get a serious cut and injury, the best thing to do is like what I did with the gauze and the duct tape. So you always learn something new. And I still hit my bed end of the day feeling grateful, you know, that number one, I had some friendly doctors, you know, helping me out, and we got to share a laugh, you know, through the whole process. And also super stoked I was able to get a memorable barrel on the longboard at Honolulu Bay before the injury. You know, it was all worth it having that little moment of tunnel.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's fun watching you, ladies and gentlemen. Zane Schweitzer, follow him on Instagram. You even get a little bit of a medical lesson every time you follow. So Zane, hey, take a quality 48 hours off and enjoy yourself before getting on the water. And we'll catch up with you and see how you're healing here soon, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Drew. Thank you to everyone at the APP World Tour. I miss seeing all my fellow competitors and all the friendly faces around, such as Drew and our whole crew. I hope to see you guys all in August and September. I'm so excited for Portugal, Gran Canaria, and Tahiti. And if you guys want to keep in touch with my action until then, you know, between surfing, stand-up paddling, and foiling, please check out my new YouTube vlog series and follow me on my social media channels. Thanks again, Drew.
You got it, buddy. Dr. Zane, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the APP World Tour. Zane's getting excited for it, as are we. We have more announcements coming up. We're going to get Tristan get a little more detail into 2021. As you see, Zane says 2021's shaping up to be one of the best years ever. So let's hope the same for the tour. We'll see you next time on Immerse TV. Have a good day.